The perfect fight, perfect rounds, all 12 of them. Of course, we all know what happened in round 6.
Terence Crawford calls Canelo Alvarez one of the best, but behind the praise, it's clear he believes the Mexican champ's weight advantage could be his.
Just break it down for us a little bit. We want to see it obviously happen.
I ain't gonna break it down to you. You know what I mean? How it's gonna happen. The strategy is me leaving with my hand, you know, rolls and everybody mouth drop.
The possible showdown between Terence Crawford and Canelo Alvarez has become one of the hottest topics in boxing. As days pass, the anticipation for this potential fight grows. But both boxers have kept the fans waiting with their mixed signals. Crawford, while not closing the door on the idea, mentioned that the fight is far from confirmed. Instead of making any definitive statements, he suggests that fans will just have to wait and see how things develop in the future. At the moment, it seems the situation is up in the air, and there isn't much to say about when.
Loads of things going around at the moment, including a big clash with Canelo Alvarez. Can you tell us what's going on in that situation, and can that happen next?
We shall see, you know. Who knows?
That smile's telling me something else, bro. I think it might be on the line, no?
Just saying, man, we can't say it's not gonna happen. We can't say that it is. So, you know, let's all.
We all know what happened in round 6.
You sap a man's confidence with body shots.
Crawford has been making waves in the 140 pounds weight class, and as the reigning champion, he feels confident about the level of competition in this division. He has mentioned that there are several exciting fighters to consider, but isn't entirely committed to facing anyone specific just yet. Crawford remains positive about the direction of the sport, believing that things are moving in a promising direction. He also discussed the importance of making the right decisions and weighing his options carefully as he looks for the best opportunities. While he remains open to facing top-tier opponents, including the possibility of fighting in Saudi Arabia during the Riyadh season, Crawford emphasized that he is open to wherever the opportunities take him.
A lot of fights out there at 154, you know, that's interesting me. That interests me. You know, like I said, the future is bright. The sport is going in the right direction. So we shall see where Terence Crawford leads.
For yourself, I know obviously last fight being in LA under a Riyadh season show. Is it likely that your next fight will be in Saudi Arabia?
Who knows? You know, like I said, you know, we gotta weigh our options and see what makes sense for Terence Crawford.
What's up, everybody? Let's check it out. Interesting highlights. Terence Crawford.
When discussing a potential bout with Alvarez, Crawford noted that if the fight does occur, he intends to put on a performance that would leave fans impressed. With 41 fights without a single loss and 31 knockouts, Crawford's accomplishments speak volumes. He has already proven himself as an undisputed champion. And when it comes to a potential matchup against Alvarez, Crawford believes his performance will show that he could handle the challenge.
Strategy is me leaving with my hand, you know, rolls and everybody mouth dropping. That's how I can, you know, sums it up in a little bit of answer.
Really roaring over. Just look at it, bro.
There is no question that a fight between these two would be spectacular, but Crawford faces a level of difficulty in the potential clash. Still, Crawford has expressed that such a fight would be monumental for his legacy, which is why he isn't driven by rivalry, but rather by the recognition of Alvarez's skills and achievements.
Then it'll be an electrifying fight, you know. It won't be like any other fight that he's fought recently. And it'd be a well-fought fight for both of us, I believe.
Any doubt in your mind that you beat him?
Of course I beat him. It ain't no doubt in my mind that I won't beat anybody that I step in.
4-45 for Crawford. We'll see how it goes.
Crawford is well aware of the challenges that come with facing someone like Canelo. The Mexican champion's size and punching power are notable factors that Crawford will have to contend with. Despite this, Crawford has faced bigger opponents in the past, and his extensive experience in the ring gives him confidence that he can handle these obstacles. The main concern for Crawford would be whether or not he could withstand Alvarez's powerful punches, which have left many fighters reeling in the past. However, Crawford's experience and ability to handle tough situations in the ring make him hopeful that he can overcome these challenges.
If I'm easy work, I heard him say I'm easy work. If I was easy work, you would take all that money that he's offering you. But yet and still, he want 200 million for Benavidez, and he want 150 million to fight me. So that just lets me know right there that I'm a threat to him. I'm a threat to him. I'm a threat to him.
Да, но при этом, еще раз обратите внимание.
Canelo Alvarez, for his part, has responded similarly, acknowledging that the fight could happen. But he's not actively pursuing discussions just yet. As of now, he's focusing on his personal life and taking things slowly. But he did mention that once the time is right, he would be open to negotiations. According to Alvarez, any serious talks would likely start in January, signaling that the fight may not come to fruition immediately but could be on the horizon. Crawford also sees the potential for an amazing matchup, noting that this fight would be one of the most exciting in modern boxing. However, he is also aware of the physical challenge that Alvarez's size would present, and the fight would certainly be a tough one.
Media news floating around saying that you could potentially be negotiating with Terence Crawford directly for a May fight. Any truth to that?
No, I'm working in other things. Now I'm enjoying my family. I'm not talking about boxing yet. So maybe in January we wanna start.
Saudi Arabia's involvement in promoting the fight is another key in the ongoing discussion. While there has been some struggle to make progress, there is now clearer interest in organizing the event. It seems like the deal could be reached by May if the right terms are met, as promoters have already reached out to Canelo's team, and if the right terms are offered, it looks like a deal could be struck.
Turkey said he would like to open a line of communication with you. No middlemen, just you and him. And
I never say no to business. So if it is a business for me, I'm open to talk.
I mean, he kind of utilizes the longer range footwork.
It has been shared that the reason Saudi Arabia is now more interested in the fight is that both fighters bring something unique to the table, with their contrasting fighting styles making the matchup intriguing from a competitive standpoint. The contrast between the two fighters' strengths has made the fight even more appealing to promoters, who see potential in such a high-profile bout.
He's the most accomplished fighter in today's sports of boxing, other than myself. And I would just like to, fight another great. That's it. That's all. If the fight, happens, I think it'll be the biggest fight in the sport of boxing.
Alvarez ended the fight with a powerful liver kick, sending Smith to his knees, and
promoters like Al Heyman see potential in bringing such a high-profile bout to the world stage. However, the weight difference remains a significant factor. Crawford, who has fought at lighter weight classes in the past, would have to jump to 168 ulbs to meet Alvarez. This presents a challenge, and some boxing analysts like Sean Porter have expressed concerns about Crawford's ability to take Alvarez's punches over the course of 12 rounds. However, there is also the belief that Alvarez may slow down in the later rounds, which could give Crawford a chance to capitalize on the opportunity. Porter, who knows Crawford's style and capability well, also weighed in on the complexity of the matchup.
The others say, no, that's 2 more weight classes. Once he gets touched by Canelo, it's going to be different.
I am concerned about him absorbing a Canelo punch, especially through the course of 12 rounds. We do know this about Canelo. He's going to slow down, so I think if anything, Canelo would try to start fast and bang on him and break him down before he gets later. And he's still got that kind of steam. But, there's so many components that make a champion. There's so many components that make a great, a legend. It's just so much to go into. It's a conversation that lasts an hour easily when we talk about all of the components that Terence Crawford has, all of the components that Canelo have, and how we find how they even out and who trumps one another. You know what I mean? We tried to do that with Errol Spence and Terence Crawford, and we see how that panned out.
And finally ending the fight.
And what battle is key?
The situation remains fluid, and the final terms will depend on various factors, including Canelo's willingness to face Crawford. While the fight could be a thrilling spectacle, The weight and physical challenges present a lot of questions.
I don't know. I mean, it's one thing. I mean, I wouldn't think that Canelo watched Crawford on Saturday and was afraid of fighting him at 68. I think for Canelo, it's more about the credibility he gets through victory. I think he's a little bit concerned, having spoke to him in the past, that if he beats a guy that's coming up from 147 to 168, is he really going to get the respect for that? So we'll see. I mean, money talks. You know, if it's the right deal.
That was with his right.
Eddie also weighed in on the situation, suggesting that Canelo may not be particularly eager to face Crawford because there wouldn't be much credit in defeating a fighter from a lower weight class. Hearn acknowledged, however, that if the financial terms were right, Alvarez would likely be willing to take the fight. The money aspect is crucial, and if the deal makes sense for both sides, the fight could become a reality. Alvarez, despite the potential hurdles, Crawford's performance in his recent fights has shown that he's capable of stepping up to bigger challenges.
There does come a time when you go up too many weight classes. Lomachenko, as great as he is and has been, a great fighter, you know, he went up 3 and lightweight was about it. You know, you could see. But Crawford has the skeleton. He has the body frame to put more weight on. But going up now, another one to 168, not even 160, but the skill. I would prefer that he make it a catch weight, that he make Canelo come down a little.
Despite the potential hurdles, Crawford's performance in his recent fights has shown that he's capable of stepping up to bigger challenges.
Crawford cares about his life, and with that fight, what do that fight do for Canelo fighting Crawford, and Crawford beats Canelo? What do that do for Canelo? I just think that there are so many other fights to make that's realistic, it makes sense, and less life.
You sap a man's confidence with body shots, as well as
his victory over Israel Madrimov, in which he moved up a weight class, solidified his position as one of the best boxers in the world. Crawford's status as the pound-for-pound champion only adds to the excitement surrounding a possible fight with Canelo. However, some experts believe that Crawford should take some time to adjust to the new class, instead of rushing into a fight against Canelo. Bernard Hopkins, in an interview, looked concerned for Terence Crawford, questioning his decision. He emphasized Crawford's well-being.
About what Crawford displayed last week and a half, but Crawford, to me, I believe, won the fight. I believe the fight could have won a draw, so you can't look at that fight and say that he's there for pickings, that his time is running out. We get up for certain fights at that level, and sometimes it can be not as good as the one that you got up for, which was Errol Spence. So I'm not fooled by what people might be saying about Crawford, whether it's time, whether it's not. Nah, I say he gets up for fights that he gets up for, and he at that age where it takes something super exciting to get excited about. I would like to see Virgil, based on this Saturday, how he looks, how he executes, and how he wins. That it gives me a blueprint to see, yeah, he won, but will he win this way with
Edgar Berlanga in the 168-pound division?
The speed of these Canelo Alvarez.
If it wasn't enough for Crawford to convince people into thinking that he could go higher, understand the physical toll it takes. I worry about Crawford's well-being in a matchup against someone like Canelo. What benefit does this fight hold for Crawford? There are plenty of other viable matchups available. Not the likes of 154 and the likes of Ortiz to fight. It was a very close fight, and it wasn't enough for Crawford to convince people that he could go up much higher. Garcia believes that a fight against Ortiz would be better for Crawford, Roberts stated. Maybe Crawford's performance was not good enough for people to expect him to do very well against Canelo. So maybe an Ortiz fight is a good idea. Paulie Malignaggi also advises Crawford to stay at 154 and fight the likes of Virgil Ortiz, Sebastian Fundora, and Tim Tszyu. Crawford is not the physically strongest fighter at 154 Ulbs, he stated.
You think about the fight now that you just witnessed Canelo Alvarez again in a masterclass performance.
I love Terence Crawford, and I want him to have what he wants. But off of what I saw tonight and what I saw in Los Angeles last month when Crawford was fighting Madrimov, I am more than ever concerned that he's not big enough and not big enough to be able to move around the ring and muscle Canelo in the way that you would have to ward off those really vicious inside power.
However, he cautions that it is not without risk, given Crawford's age of 36 and the highly competitive nature of the 154 PB division. Paulie stated, Crawford's not necessarily the strongest of fighters at 154 obs, but his IQ is so high that he can compete with anyone there, just not without risk. He's in a very competitive division, and he's 36 years old. The prospect of him fighting Tim Tszyu, Sebastian Fundora, Virgil Ortiz Jr., and Madzirov again is very appealing. Jim Lampley said Crawford is too small for Canelo after he beat Berlanga, Carlos Adams, and Spence with Terence, mentioning Crawford's fight against Madrimov, and said that Crawford is good to go.
Sí, pienso que sería que subir 3 divisiones bastante libre, demasiada yo diría. Pienso que no es algo que él lo necesita ahora mismo. Crawford en su carrera ha demostrado que es un buen peleador, pero pienso que no tiene que estar corriendo esos grandes riesgos, porque no solamente pone su carrera en riesgo, también pone su vida, porque un golpe de Canelo le puede hacer daño de por vida.
I don't think Crawford needs the Canelo fight right now. I think it's kind of needless for Crawford because his reputation is well cemented, and a punch by Canelo could not only be dangerous for him to lose the fight, but it could be dangerous for his life. So no need for Crawford to cross the line into such a heavy weight class.
Gracias.
That was with his right.
Romero believes that Canelo will still fight if it ever happens. B. Santos also believes that it would be a step too far for Crawford.
I'm going with Terence Crawford. You know, big weight jump, a dangerous fight, but somebody's got to prove to me that they can break Terence Crawford's will and that he can't figure it out against you. You know, it ain't no disrespect toward Canelo, but I've said this in the last couple of years. I'm not betting against Terence Crawford against nobody right now. You got to show me